Happy Sunday, Sooner Nation. Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. Yep, Emmett Jones is at it again. And the Sooners have landed out of Lancaster, Texas. The composite four-star wide receiver, Emmanuel Choice, as he's committed to the University of Oklahoma. A big frame wide receiver, 6'4", around 200 pounds. Some list him at 190, some around 200. But if you watch his tape, guys, very physical. That's what stands out to me that the Sooners are getting here. Wide receiver, Emmanuel Choice.
Yeah, Death, Taxes, and Emmett Jones landing a highly regarded wide receiver out of the Texas area from Lancaster, Texas. 3-star according to the composites, 4-star over on three in their individual rankings. But you mentioned it, 6'4", 195. And again, this is the second straight year that Emmett Jones has done this in his receiving recruiting classes. He'll land the all-around guy, like Elijah Thomas, just the all-around physical, can do it all, speed, great route running. He'll land a speed guy this year. I think that's kind of a Grayson Harris, another all-around guy, and Marcus Harris this year as well. And then now the fourth receiver of the class, and Emmanuel Choice, a big body physical receiver. Did it last year with Ivan Carry-On as well. So the fourth receiver of this recruiting class had offers from Texas, Tennessee, Texas A&M, Florida, so USC as well. Kind of had a string of official visits before committing to Oklahoma, but he goes to Norman for the Champ U barbecue weekend and doesn't even make it out of town before committing to the Sooners.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Emmett Jones. It seems to be, from the outside looking in, is if there was a name I might give him, would be closer. He gets guys on campus and then they leave committed. It seems to be the case a few times now where he's just got a guy and close the deal. That's what he does. And, Emmanuel Choice is a guy, if y'all remember, I think OU was his first offer, if I remember right. And so a guy that they got in early, got the offer to Choice, and now it's taken some time here. He didn't, like you said, made the other visits, but ultimately chose Oklahoma, a guy Oklahoma really wanted. And if you look at you kind of talked about it, Hunter, with the kind of the mantra of what Emmett Jones does in the recruiting as far as getting all-around guys, speed guys, and physical guys. I just think when you look at the way he coaches and stuff, physicalness may be one of the most important things he goes after. I think he's very, not just ball catching skills. It's physicality in running a route. I know that sounds silly, but running the route as hard as you can run it, being physical with your hands. Also, very physical in blocking is another thing. And at his frame, he's a guy that can just really block really well. So a huge commitment, I think, for Oklahoma. There was a lot of people out there that said, hey, when you've heard the Cortez Milton, are they still going to, take Choice? Yes, they are. And they're very they really are high on Choice.
Yeah, and I mean, again, if you go look at his tape, there's a whole lot on his tape within 10 yards going up and getting the ball. A lot of end zone plays on his highlight reel from 2023. And I expect this season upcoming, he's only going to get better in some areas. Jay, you mentioned his route running. I mean, he made defenders look ridiculous with how big he sold some routes. And deep balls, I think he's going to get more of that. But most of his touchdowns were last year anyway, were within 10 yards where they just throw it up and he goes and gets it. You mentioned Emmett Jones' ability to close, Jay. You mentioned what he wants, and I think Hunter mentioned that earlier. He builds, he recruits to really certain special things that he wants to coach around. And it's unbelievable, guys. Champ U Barbecue didn't disappoint. I think there's more to come from this. And again, the 2025 receiving core, yikes, for defenders. And hey, again, let's note this. Another one out of Texas, okay? Another one from the state of Texas. Always good.
Yeah, Emmett Jones, specifically the DFW area, but really just, I would say, throughout the entire state. His background as a former high school coach in the DFW area, the relationships that he's built to then go to Kansas, go into that area to recruit there, Go to Texas Tech, same deal. He's recruiting that area now at Oklahoma and continues to recruit it and land the guys. I mean, it seems like pretty much every wide receiver that Emmett Jones is fully pursuing from that area ends up committing to his team when it's all said and done. And again, 6'4", only 195 as of right now, but that 6'4" frame, you can put some weight on him. He still has one more year of high school. He got the offer from Oklahoma, as Jay mentioned, first offer back in May of 2023. So still some time to put on weight. And then this first year, you just look at this, the kind of the current wide receiver room for Oklahoma with guys that are going to be leaving after this season, but also that 24 class. It was such a talented wide receiver class to where playing year one as a freshman isn't going to be required. If you need some time to develop, hit the weight room with Schmitty, that is definitely an option because, as Jay mentioned earlier, you're not getting on the field for Emmett Jones unless you are physical. You're giving 110% every single play, whether or not you're getting the ball.
Yeah, and a couple of things lastly I'll say is you're not getting a receiving class like this and what they got last year unless you have wide receivers that believe in a couple of things. One, your offense that you're getting ready to run. Two, quarterback. The fact that Sperry's committed and they've had and Arnold's, the fact that they've gotten those consecutively, I think plays a big factor in these wide receivers coming to Oklahoma. I mean, they're going to want to come play where they're going to be used and used a lot and also put up good numbers. The other thing is this: 18 months ago, I think is when it was when Emmett Jones came to OU, around that time frame. If you remember during that, LaDainian Washington leaves, and there was a lot of up in the air, like, oh, man, what are they going to do? Like, this may have been the best hire I think Venables has made in his time at Oklahoma. I think Alley might be a close second here, but I do think this hire, because the turmoil when Kel Gundy left and then Washington, what Emmett Jones has done in 18 months is flat out ridiculous. I mean, it's unreal. It's too good to even fathom, really. So just kudos. I think that was a great hire by Brent Venables. Let alone he's got another great guys on the staff we could talk about. I'm just saying this hire in the transition they had was huge for Oklahoma. And you're seeing the difference.
Yeah, and Hunter alluded to this, who they have in there already, and then you stack on this 2025 class. The receiving room is the future is so bright. OU moves to a conference where the mantra is it just means more. And when Emmett Jones makes an offer, it seems to just mean more too. And he alluded to that, saying that don't forget those who offer you first. And OU did, and they land the receiver from Lancaster, Texas, and Emmanuel Choice. Thanks again for watching the content here at the Sooner Surge. Hit the subscribe button, like and comment on the video. Till next time, Boomer.
Sooner.